What if I told you that Samsung is secretly working on a Galaxy Z Fold that could completely change how we think about foldable phones? The rumors are flying, and the leaks are getting more convincing by the day. We're talking about a device that's wider, more practical, and designed to beat Apple at their own game. Today, we're diving deep into everything we know about Samsung's rumored Galaxy Widefold. This isn't just another incremental update to the Z Fold series. This could be the foldable phone that finally makes sense for everyday users. Stick around because we've got exclusive details, leaked animations, and some serious competition brewing in the foldable market. Let's start with what we actually know about this mysterious wider Z Fold. A fresh leak has given us our first real glimpse of what Samsung's rumored Galaxy Widefold might look like. Now, before you get too excited, Galaxy Widefold probably isn't what Samsung will actually call this device. That's just the name the tech community has given it for now. But the concept is real, and it's getting more concrete every day. For months, we've been hearing whispers that Samsung is developing an entirely new Z Fold device. This isn't the Z Fold 8 we're expecting later this year. This is something completely different with a much wider form factor. Think of it as Samsung's answer to Apple's first foldable iPhone, which is also expected to have a similarly wide design. The timing here is no coincidence, folks. Samsung has been dominating the foldable market for years, and they're not about to let Apple waltz in and steal their thunder. So what makes this wider Z Fold so special? The main selling point is the improved user experience when the device is unfolded. We're talking about better web browsing, more comfortable video watching, and a more tablet-like experience overall. Current Galaxy Z Fold devices are great, but they can feel a bit cramped when you're trying to multitask or consume media. This wider version could solve those problems completely. Now, let's talk about the technical details that have leaked so far. Earlier rumors suggest that Samsung is developing this device under the codename H8. The model number is reportedly SMF971U, which fits Samsung's naming convention for foldable devices. But here's where things get really interesting. Android Authority managed to find an animation buried in the One UI 9 APK files. This animation shows app continuity between the cover display and the main foldable display. What's fascinating is that the aspect ratio shown in this animation is much wider than anything we've seen on current Z Fold models. While this animation doesn't show us the actual design of the device, it gives us a clear idea of how the software will work. And if Samsung is already working on the software, you can bet the hardware is well into development. Samsung is apparently very confident about this device's market potential. Internal reports suggest they're expecting to ship over 1 million units after launch. That's a bold prediction for what would essentially be a brand new product category for Samsung. But they might be onto something here. Current foldables often feel like compromises in one way or another. Too narrow when folded, too tall when unfolded, or just awkward to use in certain situations. A wider design could address many of these concerns. Now let's talk about the competition, because this isn't happening in a vacuum. While Samsung is working on their wider fold, other companies are pushing the boundaries in different ways. Honor is about to release the Magic V6, which could be a serious game changer. This device is rumored to pack a massive 7,150 mAh battery. To put that in perspective, that's larger than most laptop batteries from just a few years ago. And it's not just about capacity either. The Honor Magic V6 could support 120-watt charging speeds. That would be another industry-first feature for foldables. In a recent poll, the Honor Magic V6 actually edged out Samsung's Z Fold 8 in terms of consumer interest. That should be a wake-up call for Samsung. For years, they've dominated the foldable market without serious competition. But companies like Honor are no longer viewed as niche alternatives. They're legitimate competitors with compelling products. The Magic V6 isn't just about the battery either. It's expected to feature the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 chipset, a 200 megapixels main camera, and 3x optical zoom. Plus, it might be even thinner than its predecessor, the Magic V5. That's impressive engineering when you consider how much technology they're cramming into this device. We should see the official announcement at Mobile World Congress in Barcelona, sometime between March 2nd and 5th. But let's get back to Samsung and this wider Z Fold concept. According to Korean outlet ET News, Samsung is planning to release this wide fold device this summer. That would put it alongside the Z Flip 8 and Z Fold 8 launches. 3 major foldable releases in one summer sounds ambitious, but it makes strategic sense. The whole strategy seems to be about beating Apple to market. Apple's rumored iPhone Fold is expected to feature a 4:3 aspect ratio for its inner display. That's much wider than current Android foldables. If Samsung can release their wide fold in the summer, they'd beat the iPhone Fold to market by at least a few months. Apple typically announces new iPhones in September, so Samsung would have a significant head start. This is classic Samsung strategy. Identify what Apple is planning and get there first. They did it with larger phone screens, wireless charging, and multiple cameras. Now they're doing it with foldables. But here's what's really interesting about this wider form factor. A 4:3 aspect ratio when unfolded would make these devices much more useful for productivity tasks. Think about it. Most documents, websites, and apps are designed for wider screens. Current foldables with their tall, narrow, unfolded displays can feel cramped when you're trying to do real work. A wider display would be much more like using an actual tablet. You could have multiple apps running side by side comfortably. Video calls would look more natural. Reading documents wouldn't require constant scrolling. It could finally deliver on the promise of having a phone that turns into a proper tablet. Now, some of you might be wondering if Samsung really needs another foldable in their lineup. They already have the Z Fold, the Z Flip, and the new Trifold. Adding a wide fold seems like it might confuse consumers or cannibalize sales from other models. But I think Samsung sees this differently. Each foldable addresses different use cases and different price points. The Z Flip is for people who want a compact phone with a unique design. The Z Fold is for power users who want a phone-tablet hybrid. The Trifold is for people who want the largest possible screen in a foldable form factor. And this wide fold would be for people who want better productivity and media consumption in a more practical form factor. It's similar to how Samsung has multiple Galaxy S models at different sizes and price points. Different foldables for different needs and budgets. The foldable market is still young, and there's room for experimentation and variety. Plus, with Apple entering the market, Samsung needs to cover all their bases. They can't afford to let Apple find an uncontested niche in the foldable space. What's really exciting is how far foldable technology has come in just a few years. Early foldables were expensive, fragile, and had terrible battery life. Now we're talking about devices with massive batteries, flagship-level performance, and improved durability. The Samsung Wide Fold could represent another major step forward in making foldables truly mainstream. So there you have it, everything we know so far about Samsung's rumored Galaxy Widefold. This could be the foldable that finally makes the technology practical for everyday users. A wider screen when unfolded, better productivity features, and Samsung's proven track record in foldables. The competition is heating up with devices like the Honor Magic V6, and Apple is preparing to enter the market. That means better products and more innovation for all of us. What do you think about this wider Galaxy Z Fold concept? Would you be interested in a foldable with a more tablet-like aspect ratio? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more tech news. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any updates on Samsung's foldable plans. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.